Fleet Commander Zarkesh had conquered 14 star systems in his illustrious career. His reputation preceded him across the galaxy, the merciless Korthani warrior who had never retreated from a battle, never shown weakness to an inferior species. Today was supposed to be routine, another primitive world to subjugate, another easy victory for the Korthani Empire. The intelligence reports had been dismissive. Humans, they called them, a young species that had barely crawled out of their gravity well, possessing crude chemical rockets and primitive nuclear weapons. Their homeworld, Earth, showed no signs of advanced technology or military capability, perfect for conquest and enslavement. Zarkesh's fleet hung in space at the edge of the Sol system like a storm of black steel. 47 warships arranged in perfect battle formation, heavy cruisers with plasma bombardment arrays, fast attack vessels bristling with particle cannons, and his flagship, the Vengeance of Korthan, a kilometer-long dreadnought that had reduced 3 civilizations to ash. Begin the approach, Zarkesh commanded from his command throne, his scaled hide gleaming under the bridge's crimson lighting. Standard intimidation protocol. Let them see death approaching. The fleet moved forward, engines painting space with trails of exotic matter. Zarkesh expected panic transmissions, desperate pleas for mercy, or perhaps defiant, but ultimately futile resistance. Instead, the system remained eerily quiet. "Commander," reported Tactical Officer Vextar, his voice carrying the first hint of uncertainty, "we're detecting a single contact approaching our position." "One ship?" Zarkesh's mandibles clicked with amusement. "Are they sending us a surrender delegation?" The main tactical display zoomed in on the approaching contact. Zarkesh expected to see a crude metal cylinder with primitive rocket exhausts, perhaps cobbled together from industrial components. What appeared on his screen made his blood run cold. The human vessel cut through space like a blade through silk. Its hull was a study in predatory perfection, angular surfaces designed to deflect energy weapons. No wasted space, no decorative elements. Every line spoke of pure, distilled violence. But it was the sheer wrongness of its design that made Zarkesh's warrior instincts scream warnings. "Vextar," he said quietly, "what are the power readings on that vessel?" "Commander, the readings don't make sense. The signature suggests a controlled singularity drive, but that's impossible. The energy output is. It's comparable to our flagship." The human ship was less than half the size of the Vengeance of Korthan, yet its power core burned like a caged star. But power wasn't what made Zarkesh's claws unconsciously extend. It was the scars. The human vessel's hull told stories of battles fought in the void. Plasma scoring ran in precise patterns across its armor plating, not random damage, but the calculated marks of someone who had faced energy weapons and learned to deflect them. Impact craters showed where kinetic projectiles had struck and failed to penetrate. Entire sections of the hull had been replaced, creating a patchwork of different metals that spoke of field repairs conducted under fire. This wasn't a ship built for conquest or exploration. This was a ship that had been forged in war. "Commander," Vextar's voice cracked slightly, "they're hailing us. Put them through." The holographic display materialized the image of a human female, her face bearing the same scarred hardness as her ship. She wore a simple gray uniform with no elaborate decorations, but her eyes held the flat, predatory stare of something that had killed before and would kill again without hesitation.
"Korthani fleet," she said in perfect galactic standard, her voice carrying no fear, no anger, just professional indifference. "This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Terran Defense Force vessel Retribution. You are in violation of human territorial space. Withdraw immediately." Zarkesh's first instinct was to laugh. One ship, demanding that his entire fleet retreat, but something in the human's tone made him pause. She spoke like someone issuing a final warning. not a desperate bluff. "Human," he replied, allowing his voice to carry the full weight of Korthani authority. "I am Fleet Commander Zarkesh. I have conquered worlds before your species learned to make fire. Surrender your system, or be destroyed." Captain Vasquez tilted her head slightly, like a predator studying prey. "Commander, I'm going to give you some free intelligence. Check your long-range scanners. Focus on the asteroid belt." Against his better judgment, Zarkesh gestured to his sensor operator. The tactical display shifted, scanning the seemingly empty space between Mars and Jupiter. What it revealed made his blood freeze in his veins. The asteroids weren't asteroids. Hidden among the floating rocks were dozens of human warships, their hulls disguised with adaptive camouflage. But worse than their numbers was their positioning. They had the Korthani fleet caught in a perfect kill box, with firing solutions calculated down to the meter. "Impossible," breathed Vextar. How did they? "We've been tracking your fleet since you entered our outer sensor grid 3 days ago," Captain Vasquez said with clinical precision. "Every ship, every weapon, every tactical formation. Did you really think a species that survived ice ages, asteroid impacts, and global wars would leave their home system undefended?" The tactical display updated as more contacts revealed themselves. Orbital platforms around Earth came online, their weapon batteries trained on the invasion fleet. Hidden bases on the outer planets powered up long-range missile systems. Even the human homeworld's moon bristled with defensive installations that hadn't been there moments before. "You have 10 seconds to begin your withdrawal," Vasquez continued, her tone never changing. "After that, my orders are to defend human space by any means necessary." Zarkesh stared at the tactical display, his legendary composure cracking. The humans hadn't just prepared for invasion. They had turned their entire system into a trap. Every asteroid, every planet, every piece of space debris was a potential weapon aimed at his fleet. "Commander," Vextar whispered urgently, "our tactical AI is reporting a 97% casualty projection if hostilities commence. The humans have overlapping fields of fire from positions we can't even detect." But it wasn't the tactical situation that made Zarkesh's decision for him. It was the look in Captain Vasquez's eyes. She wasn't bluffing or posturing. She was stating facts with the calm professionalism of someone who had calculated the exact cost of victory and found it acceptable. "All ships," Zarkesh commanded, his voice carrying none of its earlier arrogance. "Reverse course. We're withdrawing to the outer system." For the first time in his career, the legendary Korthani fleet commander had met something that made him turn away from battle. Not superior numbers or overwhelming firepower, but the cold realization that he was facing a species that treated warfare not as conquest, but as survival. As his fleet retreated, Zarkesh watched the single human ship maintain its position, neither pursuing nor retreating. It simply waited, like a predator confident in its territory. The intelligence reports, he realized, had been catastrophically wrong. Humanity wasn't a primitive species ripe for conquest. They were apex predators who had turned their entire home system into a fortress, and every ship in their fleet bore the scars of battles that had taught them how to kill efficiently. Behind them, hidden in the asteroid belt, dozens of human warships watched the Korthani fleet retreat, their weapons still locked on target, waiting for orders that never came. The invasion of Earth had ended before it began, not with fire and destruction, but with the simple recognition that some prey was too dangerous to hunt.